Hi, here. So I'm going to do the programming challenge 4A. And in this solution, the idea is that you're going to get them to enter a candidate vote, so either A, B or C, until they enter a queue. Once they enter a queue, the system will quit and it will print out how many times you've entered A, B or C, who represent candidates in some sort of voting system. So here it looks like they entered A 24 times, B 12 and C 18. So I'm going to start by showing you how to do the low one. If I go here, so because we've got to count three things, A, B and C, you should start off with three variables called count A, B and C. It is possible to do this using an array, so it is possible to go like count and then have that as count, and then obviously count 0 would be A, 1 would be B and 2 would be C, but I'm not going to show you in that because obviously that gets a bit more complicated. So it says here loop until they enter queue. So we're going to get them to enter a vote. So we want to start vote off with anything other than queue. So I'm just going to start it blank because this is a while loop challenge. So obviously you're going to use a while loop. And we're going to loop while vote is not equal to queue because we're going to loop until they enter queue. Going to put a capital Q. There we go, because that's what it said here. Notice it was capitals. If it was lowercase, I would have done lowercase. So while vote is no, then I'm going to get into enter vote. Vote equals input enter vote. And then I'm just going to show you very quickly that this will loop until they enter a capital Q, and then it quits. So now what I need to do is quite simply count if the vote was A. So I check if it's equal to A. In Python you use double equals to check. If it is equal to A, we're going to increase count by 1, count A by 1. And we do this for all three of the votes. So, just to recap, we start off with three boxes at 0. We start off with a vote anything other than Q, because if I started that at Q, the program would never enter this loop and it would just quit. So anything other than Q, it loops in, we enter A, B and C or whatever, press Q, it quits. Now we haven't printed out the results, but that would be 1, 1, 1 after that, because they've entered it once. So now I'm going to go back and look at what I've got to print out, and I've got to print that out. I'm just going to copy it to save me writing it out. So now we print out that, but instead of printing out 24, because obviously we don't know what they've typed in, we need to print out, so put a quote, put count A, because we're printing out count A's votes, and then we obviously copy and paste that 3 times and change it to A, B and C. This was actually a real exam question. That would have got you quite a lot of marks. And then Q. There we go, 4, 2, 1. Excellent. So there you go, A, B, C, 4, 2, 1. We've printed it out exactly as it says there. Try and make sure you keep it exactly as it says. It might be fussy, and if you put the word vote, they might not give you the mark because technically you didn't do what they asked. So there you go, that's how you do it for that one. Now this is quite tricky, this, who's a winner? So you've got to say if there's a winner or there's a draw. So there are 4 options. A wins, B wins, C wins, or there's a draw. So we first off look at how we can say if A wins. So we check if A wins by comparing count A and making sure that it's more than count B, because obviously they've got to beat count B. But it also needs to beat count C. So then we do and count A is greater than count C. If this is, we're going to print candidate, oh my God, A1. Just going to check that's what it's asked for. There's a full stop, so just for fussiness, I'll put a full stop. Okay, so that is the first one. I'm going to copy that because I'm lazy. Then we do an elif, okay, because else we check if B beats A and B beats C, then we put B1. Then the last one is if C beats A and C beats B, it's not the last one, it's the last one where there's a winner. Then C wins, and then if we haven't got anything, we do else, and we print draw. So it's a little tricky this. So we're doing two if statements. We do if A beats B and A beats C, we print A wins. And once you've got the grasp of that, the rest are common sense. The reason we have to do an elif rather than just 3 ifs is we need an else. And we need this else to trigger if all 3 of those didn't trigger. If we just did like that, that draw would trigger even if these triggered. So by doing elif, we do if we do this, otherwise this, otherwise this, otherwise draw. So it's like you've got 3 options and a default option kind of thing. So let's run it. Let's do a draw. So A, B drew, Q, and then we got draw. And let's do it where there's a win. Every time got to click in, it's so annoying. And A1. So there you go. We've done that handily. It's a little tricky, but there you go. I think actually that was probably harder than the last one, which is the percentages. So we need to put the percentage of the scores in. So we need to calculate that first of all. So to calculate a percentage, hopefully you know it's the total, it's the votes divided by the total and then times 100 for percentages, because obviously we need it in a percentage, not a decimal. So that is the formula. So we need the total. So let's get the total votes.